Macmillan Audio presents The Nature of Disappearing by Kimi Cunningham Grant. Read for you by Emily Pike Stewart. For those of you who are in a wilderness. He found him in a desert land, and in the howling waste of a wilderness. He encircled him, he cared for him, he guarded him as the pupil of his eye. Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 10. The National Wilderness Preservation System is a network of over 111.7 million acres, more area than the state of California, of public land comprised of more than 803 wilderness areas administered for the American people by the federal government. These are special places where nature still calls the shots. Places where people like you, with an appetite for adventure, can find a sense of true self-reliance and experience solitude. The U.S. Forest Service on its designated wilderness areas. September 2023. 1. Smoke tinges the world white. It swallows the spired treetops and narrows the canyon ahead. It erases altogether the majestic gray faces of the obsidians, shrouds the valley, slips up the ravines. Emlyn stands midstream, the river lulling at her thighs, pressing her waders tight. A shadow overhead. A flash of dark. In a moment it swoops to the water, hard and fast. A bright splash as it hits the surface, then it lifts, flapping higher, its catch secure in its talons. Osprey. Emlyn looks at the client, clambering ahead and sloshing upstream, and wonders if he sees it. Some people, they feel the trout in these waters belong to them, and not the birds. And Emlyn has a feeling the client is such a person. John Thomas is his name, and he seems to hold it against her that the wildfires in California are ruining the cerulean Idaho skies promised on the company website. Earlier, as they'd loaded gear into the truck, he'd waved his hand toward the gray-white space in the distance where the obsidians hid, veiled in smoke, and frowning, said, "I thought there were mountains." He'd arrived 14 minutes early, in an Aston Martin Vantage, teal with a yellow pinstripe down its hood. Emlyn had tried not to stare, which is exactly what a car-loving person like herself was wont to do, and exactly what a person who drove such a car expected people to do. She'd tried not to eye the handcrafted oyster bamboo rod, which she knew carried a price tag of $4,600, though in the end she couldn't keep herself from commenting. And she'd tried not to look too hard at him, John Thomas. Maybe 10 years her senior, but glowing with good looks and vigor. A shining example of how money could prolong youth. He'd climbed out of the Aston Martin, extended a smooth hand, and flashed her a winning smile. "I've heard great things about you," he'd said. To her relief, she'd delivered. Well, that, and they'd been lucky. Luck was always part of the story. She'd set him up with a hopper-dropper, the hopper peach with Sharpie dots on its underside, the dropper a zebra nymph, both of which she'd made herself. And the man had caught a fat, glimmering brown trout in a public stretch of the salmon early in the day. Later, and to his great delight, he'd taken a small bull trout in a tributary on the Henning Ranch where Emlyn had permission to fish. She'd cited statistics about the odds of such an accomplishment and snapped a slew of photos before returning it to the cold water. This is good work, guiding, and she knows it. Spending day upon day where she feels most at ease. In the wild, in a place she is sure is the most beautiful stretch of land in the country, if not the world. And most of the time, she loves it. On the river there is no humdrum.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?